Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime Las Vegas sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Las Vegas for the past 35 years. And this is Gary Wins Videos with your NFL Week number 12 Thursday night football preview on Prime TV. And we have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling 134 miles up the road to take on the Cleveland Browns in a long-time, big-time rivalry. And in this game, the Steelers are a 3.5-point road favorite to total 37. Weather is expected to be chilly, 37 degrees at kickoff, winds around 12 miles per hour, and rain is even slated around the 5 o'clock hour, so it could spread into the start of this game. Always a possibility. We have a matchup here of two teams going in opposite directions, as the Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-2, 8-2 against the spread this year, so they've been a moneymaker all year for the bettors. And for Cleveland, they are just 2-8, 3-7 against the spread. Cleveland just 1-4 at home. The Pittsburgh Steelers have fared very well on the road so far, 4-1 straight up this year on the road. Now, when we look at offenses and defensive numbers real quick, Pittsburgh's offense number 20 in the NFL, so a little past the midway point, averaging just 324 total yards per game. For Cleveland, it's number 28, so they're the fourth worst at just 290 yards per game. Pittsburgh's defense is number 8 in the league, allowing just 305. Cleveland's defense has dropped down to number 20, much deeper than they were the last few years when they were one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the NFL. For the defense of Pittsburgh, they're allowing only 16 points a game. Cleveland's defense, though, allowing 25. And again, that's very uncharacteristic of the past few years. When we look at this game, Pittsburgh comes in red hot, winning 5 straight games. In fact, the last 2 games, they had comebacks, and they were able to win by 2 and 1 point. It was a heavily contested, hard-hitting game last week against Baltimore, like it always is. Once again, that game went real close, and I did a video last week, and I told you that game is automatically almost a 3-point game every single time they seem to play. And once again, it went right down to the wire. 6 field goals made by Pittsburgh. No touchdowns, though, for Pittsburgh. So when we look at this matchup last year, Pittsburgh won 26-22 in Pittsburgh, but they lost 13-10 in Cleveland. 2 years ago, Pittsburgh lost in Cleveland 29-17. So they're going to try to bounce back and pick up a big road win. And they have a nice little cushion in the division now. So they don't want to win the big game against Baltimore and go on the road and lose against a hapless Cleveland team. But this is a rivalry game, so throw out the records. As far as Cleveland goes, they do have one big stat in their favor. They have won 8 straight home Thursday night TV games the past 5 years. Last week, 1 quarterback won and 1 lost. But when you look at the stats, you would think it was the other way around. The winning quarterback was Pittsburgh quarterback Russell Wilson. He was 23 for 36, 205 yards. But again, no touchdowns. He had 1 interception, a terrible one, where he really almost cost his team a chance to have a bigger lead and an opportunity to put Baltimore away. It kept Baltimore in the game because he just lofted a poor interception into the end zone. Big mistake by Wilson in that situation. But again, they had no touchdown drives at all in the game. When you look at the other side of it, Cleveland and their quarterback, Jameis Winston, last week he had a phenomenal day, his best game of the year by far. But he was 30 for 46, 395 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I did get sacked 3 times, but the good news for Winston is he's actually protecting the ball much better this year on tape, especially than I've seen in years past. He was taking a lot of chances in years past. He's grown up a lot, and he sat on the sidelines this year. He clearly knows the plays well, but he's only thrown an interception in 1 of his 4 starts. So if he can keep to that, they'll be in the game all the way. They're going to have to really implode to get 395 yards and lose this game with no interceptions against a really good Pittsburgh defense. But when we look at Cleveland, the offense, the last 2 weeks, their problem, like last week, wasn't getting a lot of yards and moving the ball. It was on 3rd down. And 3rd down, 6 for 17 against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. 3 for 13, really bad last week against New Orleans. So 9 for 30 the last 2 weeks on 3rd downs. You're not going to win a lot of games, folks, in this league when you're playing that poorly on 3rd down execution. For Pittsburgh and their quarterback Wilson, in 4 starts that he's made now since he came back from his injury and took over for Justin Fields, he's been sacked 12 times and 11 times the last 3 weeks. That would scare me a little bit going against a hungry Cleveland defensive line with Garrett especially. The offensive line for Pittsburgh really hasn't played that well. Again, they have called really good plays. I give a good credit to the play caller for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really, they have one big weapon at wide receiver, yet they're able to get the big play when they need it. Against Washington 2 weeks ago, Wilson, when it was down to the last play, if Washington stops one play, they win the game, but he throws a beautiful dime in the corner of the end zone for the first pass completion to their newly acquired Mike Williams. Williams has been there a couple of weeks now, so that bodes well. He should be have a little bit better rapport now after 2 weeks of practices with Wilson. But this game really comes down to the fun part of it is going to be the 2 top defensive pass rushers in the NFL the last few years. For Cleveland, it's Myles Garrett, reigning defensive MVP, and for the Pittsburgh Steelers, T.J. Watt, who really probably should have won that MVP last year, and he was not happy about not winning it either. So these guys have a little bit of bad blood between each other, which is a little surprising. But when we look at this game here, Cleveland's not, they may not be in the playoff race, folks, but I can tell you right now, Garrett's going to come ready to play in this game. He is going to give his best effort by far of the season, I believe, and I think he's got an opportunity to get some sacks against this Pittsburgh porous offensive line. And again, that's really been the only factor of this team that's really not playing that well. Although, again, Pittsburgh's just not scoring enough touchdowns. But, they're well coached. They do what they need to do. They try to fake punt early against Washington. It didn't come back to haunt them. So, all in all, this is a team that's going to have to play really well, Cleveland, to be able to beat somebody like Pittsburgh that's coming in so red hot. Now, I like to do tired legs for college football a lot, but this is an instance where coming into this game, normally I wouldn't want to be taking the road team on the short week and the short rest and then the travel. But these two teams are only 130 miles apart, so there's no big travel woes for Pittsburgh going into this game. Next, though, you look at Pittsburgh. Now, this is the Pittsburgh defense on the field the last 2 weeks. Against Baltimore, they were on the field only 54 plays. Pittsburgh's offense had the ball 36 minutes. The defense was only on the field 24 of the 60 minutes. So fantastic game there. Then they played Washington 2 weeks ago. They were on the field for only 59 plays there and the identical 36-24 time of possession difference in their favor. So in the last 2 weeks, the offense has been on the field for Pittsburgh 70 minutes, and the defense has only been 72 minutes, and the defense has only been on the field for 48. So they'll come in with fresh legs. That's a good sign for Pittsburgh if you're looking to bet them there. For Pittsburgh, their defense has 4 sacks the last couple of weeks. And again, when you look at the key, I believe, into this game, which gives a good advantage to Pittsburgh coming in, besides the fact that they're the much better team. But being on the field the last couple of weeks for only that short amount of plays, that's going to help them when this game is going to be a difficult game in the third and fourth quarter, which it may be. Again, you're coming off a game against Baltimore. That's a beat-up game, and you come away with that type of situation a lot with tired legs. But they're not going to have them fully due to the fact that they really haven't been on the field. And that bodes well for the pass rushers as well if you have fresh legs on a short week, because that's the time where you could run out of gas in the third, fourth quarter. Now, for Cleveland, their defense gave up 473 last week to New Orleans. And New Orleans, when Carr's in there, it's a different offense. And New Orleans is not a team that has a really poor offense. So it's not, Taysom Hill went off on him. And that's what he's done in the past 3, 4, 5, whatever years. Seems like he's been playing maybe 10 years already. What a fantastic selection the Saints made with him. But the secondary, when I watched the tape of these last 2 games, they've been blowing coverages. And that's where they gotten into trouble. They've been giving up a lot of big, crazy plays. And you can't do that. Pittsburgh may be able to hit one or two. They're not the most creative team. They're more of a play not to lose type of team, especially this year with Russell, with Wilson not really running, not taking any risks. And the bottom line here is that that's an advantage to Cleveland a little bit to be able to keep them in the ball game. But again, since Pittsburgh's defense is on the road for a short road trip, I'm not giving that any extra credence to Cleveland as an advantage. We have a situation right now where I think that the two good pass rushers may be able to have a nice day here. Now, I've been doing videos for these preview games, the Thursday and Sunday and Monday night games, and I normally am not a prop guy, but I was giving them out just to add it to the videos. And I'm not going to give you one here because somehow, some way, by a miracle, I guess, we're 10-0 with those props. So I'm not tooting my own horn. How that's very surprising and rare. Everything's gone my way there. Some of them were dead on the money, but at the same time, Garrett comes in here 4 of his last 5 games with no sacks. So you have to believe he's going to get it up a notch. He knows that they're not going to the playoffs. But I believe he will give his best effort. And again, he's got some holes there that he can exploit against the Pittsburgh offensive line that, again, has not been that great. Wilson's been sacked a lot. I would almost say that I'm not going to give one out on for a prop. I'll save that maybe for a Sunday or Monday when we get a good one. I want it to be a good one. I don't want to just throw something at you that I wouldn't even bet myself. But I would look for maybe a parlay, which I don't do parlays, but to make this fun, where you get, that both TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett both get a sack. And that'll probably pay some decent money. I haven't had time today to look that up, but again, I'm not a normal, regular, routine prop guy. I'm a side total and team total guy. And we've had a fantastic year. Again, I swept the board again on Sunday in the NFL. So I'm excited about the card this week again. Again, wait till Sunday. Hopefully I'll find something better. I didn't really see anything great in the way this situation, other than I do like it, leaning like to both of these guys getting a sack. So hopefully this gets you a little bit more prepared for the game on Thursday night. Should be a fantastic, hard-hitting game. And enjoy the game, and may all your wagers be winning ones. Make sure you check out all my other videos here at Gary Wins Videos, and I will have a preview for the Sunday night, Monday night game, and I'm going to do a full recap of the Sunday NFL last week and give you some good tidbits on every game from the tapes. I'm not finished all the tapes. I have half of them to go tonight, so I'll get that all finished up and get you up to date. That's the video that you want to watch every week. If you don't have any time to do any homework on games, at least I could get you better prepared with some good stuff, good nuggets going into the weekend of games in the NFL. For week number 13, I'm excited about it. Hope you are too, and have a great week ahead.